Listen carefully, because what I'm about to walk you through is something most men never learn in their entire lives. Women's bodies broadcast far more information about their sexual interest than their words ever do. Most men are hypnotized by what a woman says. I'm not really looking for anything right now. You're such a good friend. You're nice. I'm just busy. Meanwhile, her body is quietly screaming the truth. Her nervous system, posture, micro-expressions, and involuntary reactions are telling you exactly how attracted she really is or isn't. Women can soften things with polite language. They can tell you what's socially acceptable, what sounds good, what protects your ego, what protects their reputation. But their biology doesn't have a filter. When a woman feels real desire, her body shifts into a different state. Her autonomic nervous system starts firing. Blood flow changes, muscle tension changes, breathing patterns change, pupils, voice, posture, touch, proximity. Everything starts giving away what she's feeling, whether she likes it or not. If you're only listening to what she says and not watching what her body is doing, you're playing this game on hard mode. So in this talk, I'm going to walk you through why genuine female sexual attraction creates specific, involuntary physical responses, how to distinguish social politeness from real sexual interest, the key signals in eye contact, posture, touch, voice, hair, breathing, and proximity, how these signals work together as patterns, not isolated gestures, and how to use this understanding to stop wasting time on women who aren't attracted, and to respond confidently and respectfully when they are. We're not talking about tricks, manipulation, or trying to hack women. This is about reading reality correctly. Once you understand the biological side, you stop guessing. You stop over-investing in women who are only being friendly. You stop missing opportunities with women who are clearly open, but you're too blind to see it. Let's start at the foundation. 1. The biological reality behind female sexual signals. When a woman feels genuine sexual attraction, it's not a choice in the way most men think. Her conscious mind might be saying, "This is just a co-worker. He's not my type on paper. I should probably be careful here." But behind the scenes, her autonomic nervous system is either activated or it's not. Sexual arousal isn't a random mood. It's a coordinated nervous system response designed by evolution. Here's what happens internally when she feels real desire. Her sympathetic nervous system kicks in, heart rate goes up, blood flow increases, skin temperature changes, blood is redirected to erogenous zones, pelvis, chest, lips, ears, neck. Sensitivity goes up, hormones and neurotransmitters shift, dopamine, oxytocin, and others contribute to excitement, focus, and emotional intensity. Muscle tension changes, some areas relax, others tighten, posture subtly adjusts to increase display and receptivity. None of this is under her conscious control. She can try to downplay it, but she can't switch it off with willpower. Now here's the important part. Female sexuality evolved under two massive pressures. Attract the best possible men, strength, competence, emotional control, status, genetic quality, protect social reputation and safety. So female sexual signaling evolved to be visible to aware men, plausibly deniable to everyone else. That's why so many men miss it. You're expecting an explicit "I want you." In reality, you're getting slight shifts in posture, changes in voice, subtle touching, micro changes in eye contact. If you're not trained to see it, you interpret real interest as "she's just being friendly." If you're clueless and horny, you interpret politeness as sexual interest. Both are expensive mistakes. Your job as a man is to differentiate social comfort sees as sexual attraction, friendly attention versus arousal-driven behavior. And you do that not by obsessing over a single signal, but by recognizing patterns in her eyes, posture, touch, voice, and proximity. Let's go step by step. 2. The eyes, where attraction leaks. First, the eyes are the most honest part of the body when it comes to arousal. Why? Because they're wired directly into the autonomic nervous system. She can fake a smile. She can manage her words, but her pupils and gaze patterns are much harder to control. 1. Pupil dilation. When a woman feels strong attraction or arousal, her pupils tend to dilate, get bigger. This happens even when lighting conditions stay the same. It's driven by sympathetic nervous system activation. You're not staring into her eyes with a measuring tool, but you'll notice a difference when you're paying attention. Her eyes look more open, darker, and more alive. Is pupil dilation alone enough to read attraction? No, but it's a piece of the pattern. 2. Eye contact patterns. There is a huge difference between social eye contact used to be polite versus sexual eye contact that carries tension. Signs of sexualized eye contact. She holds your gaze just a bit longer than necessary. Her eyes return to you repeatedly, even in a group. There's a pull in the way she looks at you, like she's studying you, not just glancing. You'll feel it. It doesn't feel like normal conversation. It feels charged. 3. Bedroom eyes and mouth gazing. When aroused, the muscles around her eyes tend to relax slightly. Combine that with dilated pupils and softer focus, and you get what people call bedroom eyes. More, she glances at your mouth. Often, she looks at your lips when you're talking. Her gaze drops from your eyes to your mouth and back again. That mouth gazing is not random. It's a very old, very primal preoccupation with kissing and physical intimacy. Again, one glance means nothing, but repeated, consistent behavior, paired with other signs, very different story. 3. Posture, orientation, and how her body points at you speech is conscious. Posture is rarely. When a woman is truly attracted, her body starts repositioning itself automatically. 1. Body orientation. The simplest question, which way is she pointing? A sexually interested woman tends to turn her torso towards you, even if she's speaking to someone else. Angle her hips and feet in your direction. Open up her body when you're near instead of turning away or closing off. In group situations, she will often subtly configure her body so that you have a clear view of her. She can turn back to you easily. There is a channel of space between you two. 2. Posture changes. Attraction often brings straighter spine, shoulders back, chest subtly lifted, stomach slightly tucked, chin aligned or slightly raised. Why? Because sexual attraction tends to increase self-presentation. Her body instinctively moves into a shape that displays her form more clearly. Is not always dramatic. Often it's a series of small adjustments, sitting a little taller, leaning forward more than is necessary, arching slightly when standing. 3. Distance and barriers. What? How close does she stand or sit? Does she move closer when she has the chance? Does she remove or maintain physical barriers between you, bags, crossed arms, tables? An interested woman reduces distance over time. She moves into your personal space when she could easily stay further away. A woman who is not attracted will subtly protect distance, standing just out of reach, keeping a purse or object between you. Leaning away rather than in. Again, we're reading patterns, not single moments. 4. Touch, the most expensive signal. Touch is where things get very real. Because touch is intentional, it requires a decision. It has social risk. It's much harder to explain away if overdone, so women tend to be careful with who they touch, how they touch, and how often. 1. Accidental but repeated contact. Early in the interaction, you'll see brushing past you when there's enough room not to, letting her hand linger when she hands you something light, seemingly incidental, touches on your arm or shoulder. Each one is small and plausible. 1 is nothing. 5 in half an hour is not nothing. Her body is probing your response while maintaining deniability. 2. Intentional, localized touch. As comfort and attraction increase, she touches your forearm when she laughs. She puts a hand briefly on your chest while making a point. She lets her leg rest against yours and doesn't move it. Notice 2 things: location, arms, shoulders, back, chest, legs are more intimate than hands alone. Duration. Does she break contact immediately or let it linger? The more intimate the area and the longer she maintains it, the more it signals genuine comfort and attraction. 3. Self-touch in your presence. There's a different kind of touch, how she touches herself around you. Sexual arousal increases body awareness. You'll see, playing with her hair, stroking her neck, collarbone, or upper chest. Running hands along her thighs or arms, adjusting jewelry, straps or clothes in slow repeated motions. This isn't always conscious. Her nervous system is lit up. She's soothing and stimulating herself without even realizing what she's communicating. 4. Response to your touch. One of the clearest distinctions. A woman who is attracted will usually relax into appropriate touch. A woman who is not will subtly or obviously pull away, freeze up, or go stiff. Think you touch her arm lightly. She either stays, leans slightly in, or increases contact. That's positive. You touch her arm and she moves it away, or your touch dies instantly in the air. That's information. You don't push, you don't force, you read. 5. Voice and speech. Attraction in the sound. Her voice is another channel the nervous system uses to betray attraction. Sexual excitement changes. Breathing muscle tension. Emotional state. All of that shows up in how she sounds. 1. Pitch and tone. Under arousal, her voice often becomes slightly lower and more breathy. The tone softens. There's more air, less sharpness. It's not cartoonishly obvious. But if you know her normal voice and suddenly in private, it becomes slower, softer, and more intimate. Pay attention. 2. Pace and rhythm. A woman who is attracted often speaks a bit more slowly, leaves more pauses, uses a more rhythmic, almost hypnotic flow. Silences feel loaded, not awkward. The conversation has an undercurrent of tension. Conversely, a woman who is not interested might speed up, keep things surface level, use more abrupt tone changes. 3. Volume and proximity. She may lower her volume, forcing you to move closer. Lean in when she talks in a noisy place. Create a sense of intimacy just through how she shapes the conversation. 4. Unconscious vocal signals. You'll hear soft sighs, breathier exhalations during certain moments, longer, warmer laughter that comes more easily. This isn't proof on its own, but combined with everything else, it paints a clear picture. 6. Hair and neck. Primitive displays. Hair and neck behaviour are deeply wired into attraction. 1. Hair, touching and stroking. Repeated patterns, running fingers through her hair, twisting strands around a finger, smoothing hair over and over again. This draws attention to her hair, face and upper body. Is also a self-soothing, arousal-linked behaviour. 2. Neck exposure. The neck is a vulnerable and erogenous zone. Signs: tilting her head, exposing the side of her neck, pulling hair to one side, touching her neck while talking. Exposure of the neck and upper chest, not necessarily in a dramatic way, signals comfort and openness. 3. Dramatic hair movements. More confident, attracted women may flip hair back, toss it over a shoulder, let it fall forward and then brush it away. All of it creates motion around her face and torso, drawing your attention where she wants it. 7. Breathing, pulse and colour. The subtle physiology. If you're close enough, you can read microphysiology. 1. Breathing. Under arousal, breathing gets a bit deeper. There's more chest or upper body movement. Speech breaks are timed with deeper breaths. You might notice slight rises in her chest, breath catching on certain topics or moments. 2. Pulse and flushing. When heart rate goes up, pulse, points at the neck sometimes become more visible. Skin may show slight flushing in the cheeks, neck, upper chest. She looks a bit more glowy, especially under warm light. None of this is theatrical, it's subtle, but once you've seen it a few times, you can't unsee it. 8. Mirroring and synchronization. Nervous systems linking up. When two people are deeply comfortable or attracted to each other, their nervous systems start to synchronize. 1. Body mirroring. Watch for, she adopts similar postures to yours. She crosses or uncrosses legs shortly after you. She leans in when you lean in, shifts when you shift. It's not mimicry, it's organic alignment. 2. Breathing and rhythm. In intimate settings, her breathing may start to match your pace. Your pauses, gestures, and rhythms overlap. You feel like you're in the same timing. 3. Vocal and verbal mirroring. She matches your volume, echoes certain phrases or words you use, adapts to your conversational style. Again, this doesn't happen when she's just being polite. It's what happens when she's absorbed in the interaction. 9. Territorial and competitive signals. When attraction is strong enough, you'll sometimes see territory behaviours. She may position herself between you and other women, move closer when another woman comes near, increase touch and warmth. When competition appears, subtle competition, she suddenly becomes more affectionate or animated if another woman is engaging you. She makes herself more physically present, closer, louder, more active in the conversation. You might think, why is she acting different now? Her biology is answering because there's a perceived rival. Again, interpretation requires context and calibration. But when combined with all the previous signals, it's meaningful. 10. Self-presentation, clothes, grooming, and adjustments. Women will unconsciously adjust their appearance in the presence of a man they're attracted to. 1. Clothing adjustments. Watch for pulling down a top slightly to reveal more collarbone or cleavage, adjusting a skirt or uncrossing legs to change what's visible, removing unnecessary layers as interaction progresses, jacket, scarf, etc. These shifts are subtle ways of increasing display without openly trying too hard. 2. Grooming behaviours. An interested woman may reapply lipstick or gloss, check herself in a mirror or foam reflection, smooth clothes, adjust straps, fix jewellery repeatedly. She's heightening her presentation because your presence matters. 3. Accessory manipulation. Pay attention to necklaces being played with, drawing your eye to her chest and neck, bracelets and rings being adjusted, drawing attention to her hands, earrings being touched, again highlighting her neck and jawline. All small, but when they appear in clusters, they point in the same direction. 11. Proximity, space, and shared environments. Physical distance is one of the clearest signals of comfort and attraction. 1. Entering your personal space. A woman who is not attracted will generally maintain a safe social distance, only come close when forced by space constraints. A woman who is attracted will stand or sit closer than necessary, close the gap during conversation, position herself near you when choosing where to be in a room. 2. Creating shared bubbles. She may suggest moving to a quieter corner. Choose seats where it's just the two of you, a bit separated from others. Construct little pockets of privacy, even in public places. 3. Space marking. She places her phone, her bag, her drink near you, effectively marking the area as hers and yours. These things aren't romantic on the surface, but they're not random either. 12. Oral and eating behaviours. This is subtle and easy to misread if you're immature, so stay grounded. Under attraction, there's often an increase in mouth-related behaviour, more deliberate, sensual sipping or small bites, licking or biting lips more often, playing with straws, utensils or fingers in a way that draws attention to the mouth, sharing "try this" with her drink, offering a bite of her food, taking a sip from what you're drinking. Again, none of this by itself is a solid signal, but layered onto everything else, it adds weight. 13. Vulnerability and submission. Signals. Sexual openness often shows up as vulnerability and deference, especially in the presence of a grounded masculine man. Signs: tilting the head, exposing the neck. Relaxed posture, leaning back or to the side, showing trust. Open hands, uncrossed arms, no defensive barriers between you. Asking for your opinion, guidance, or input in a way that defers to your leadership. She doesn't have to agree with everything you say. That's not the point. The point is whether she invites your input and values your perspective. This isn't about dominance fantasies. It's about nervous system dynamics. A woman who feels both safe and attracted will often unconsciously move into a more receptive, relaxed, open state around a man she desires. 14. Patterns, not isolated signals. This is where most men fail. They see one hair flip, one glance at the mouth, one accidental touch, and they immediately decide, she wants me. That's how you get yourself into trouble. Real sexual interest shows up as clusters. Eyes plus posture plus distance, touch plus voice plus hair, proximity plus mirroring plus self-presentation. And it's not just once you see these clusters. Early in the interaction, intensifying as things go well, consistently reappearing as contact continues. Context matters. In formal or professional settings, signals may be heavily suppressed. In relaxed social settings, they'll be more obvious. Alcohol can blur lines. You must lean even more on respect and restraint. The rule is simple. One signal means nothing. A pattern of signals means something. And even when you see the pattern, it is not a license to push past her comfort. It is information to adjust your confidence, escalate slowly and respectfully, read her responses in real time. Back off immediately if she stiffens, freezes, pulls away, or disengages. Attraction is not consent. Signals are not a green light to do whatever you want. They're simply the truth the nervous system is telling you, so you don't have to guess. 15. How this actually helps you as a man. Most men operate in one of two modes, blind and passive. They wait for women to spell things out and miss obvious interest. Delusional and pushy, they see what they want to see and ignore reality. You're going to do something different. By understanding female sexual body language, you get accuracy. You can distinguish polite from attracted. Efficiency. You stop pouring time and energy into women who are not interested. Calmness. You approach less from hope, more from evidence. Respect. You don't misread friendliness as an invitation to push for more. When you see multiple eye, posture, touch and proximity signals, repeated and escalating patterns over time. Positive responses to small, appropriate escalations. You can move things forward, suggest a more intimate location or date, increase eye contact and physical closeness, initiate light, respectful touch and see how she responds. And if you don't see these patterns, even if she's talkative, friendly or gives you attention, you stop trying to force chemistry that isn't there. That alone will save you years of frustration. 16. Final truth. Her body tells the truth. Social conditioning can teach her to be polite, teach her to smile, teach her to entertain conversation. But her nervous system tells you whether she actually feels desire, tells you whether there is real chemistry, tells you whether escalation is welcome, neutral, or unwelcome. If you ignore the body and only listen to words, you'll chase women who aren't attracted, miss women who are living a fog of confusion and resentment. If you ignore the words and only chase the body, you become a disrespectful idiot and eventually pay for it. The skill is to integrate both. What she says, what her body says, the context you're in, your own standards and values. Women's bodies are constantly broadcasting signals. Most men are deaf to them. You don't have to be. You can learn to read when she's just being kind, when she's just bored and talking, when she's actually turned on, open, and hoping you notice. That's sexual intelligence. And it's one of the big differences between men who are chronically confused and men who move through their romantic lives with clarity and self-respect. Her words can be polite. Her body will be honest. Your job is to become the kind of man who can tell the difference, and who uses that knowledge with control, respect, and strength.